Hi, guys. The topic for my research paper was the reality of criminal investigation. I personally love watching crime dramas on TV. I always have a show like Bones, Rizzoli and Isles, Criminal Minds, things like that on TV in the background while I'm doing chores, while I'm picking up the house, doing dishes, cooking dinner. It's just always on. Watching these types of shows has made me think of what the life of a real criminal investigator looks like. Once I started looking into this and seeing how real investigations are run, I learned that things aren't always what they seem. This ties into my thesis statement for the paper, which was there is a lot of work involved in a criminal investigation, including keeping up to date on technology and forensic science trainings, following established rules and regulations, and making sure all paperwork is completed correctly for the eventual criminal prosecution. While television can be educational, the life of a criminal investigator in particular is not always what it seems on TV. For my paper, I focused on three main points: the technology used in investigations, the time frame of an investigation, and the excitement factor that's always shown on a good TV show. I thought it was really important to show that technology used to solve a crime on TV is wildly advanced. It's really not available to small, low budget law enforcement agencies, like your local law enforcement agency. They're not going to have like holographic things that show how a murder was committed, things like that. You're not going to see that in your local law enforcement agency. Um, just as important is the fact that it's an investigation is not a quick process. It's a long, drawn out process. It takes a lot of time to collect all the evidence, to interview your witnesses, to put things together. It takes time. Crimes can take months to years to be solved. It's not going to be done in days to a week, like they show on TV. Just another important thing is the knowledge that the life of a um, criminal investigator is not necessarily an exciting one. It's a lot of paperwork and it takes a lot of patience. I used five main sources for my research: three journals, an article, and a case report. They were all very helpful, but the one I liked the most was written by Carol Henderson and Diana Botluck, and it was called Sleuthing Scientific Evidence Information on the Internet. It was a really interesting read for me. It had a lot of information, a lot of links. It was written for a person already in the field of a criminal investigator. It showed all the resources available to keep up to date on technology and the newest finds in the field. It was just so interesting. I was up all night clicking on links. It was hard to stay on topic, which again, leading into my next topic, is the hardest part of writing this paper was staying on topic for me. With all this information available, it was just so easy to go down a rabbit hole and look into things that really weren't important to what I was trying to get across. It was really hard for me to keep everything written in a cohesive manner for it to make sense when you're reading it. As I wrote the paper, I was reminded of how much I really like to write. It's been a long time for me. I'm not in school, well, now, but I haven't been for years and years. And in my career, I don't really get to write very often. I love it. I learned how to stay focused and keep on track, which is not always easy for me. I am a single mom to a very grown-up 11-year-old who can be a distraction sometimes, which isn't a bad thing, but it's hard sometimes. In the end, I learned a lot about the life of a real investigator and how much work it really is. I think it's such an important field for people to get into, but I also think that it's not for everyone. You really need to know how much work it is and how hard it is to be this patient. And I encourage all who want to make a difference and solve these horrible crimes to pursue that passion. But I also want you to know how much work it is and how you need to be patient and compassionate and innovative when trying to solve crime.